What's up, guys? Welcome back to Eau de Treasure EDT. I'm Steven. This is my channel where I collect discontinued, vintage, rare, and interesting fragrances here in Japan where I live. A few weeks ago, I posted something on my community tab on my channel. I asked some questions. I listed something like 8, 9, or 10 vintage fragrances that I saw available here in Japan. And I asked you guys, the viewers, what should I buy? Which ones should I buy? And a couple people responded and they gave, of course, different suggestions, different fragrances that they liked that I should buy and talk about. I couldn't buy all of them, and I wanted to buy more than just one, so I ended up buying a small handful. So these are the handful of fragrances, vintage fragrances that I bought in Japan. I spent $100. So think about that. If you had $100 and you were going to buy some valuable vintage fragrances, what would you buy? Which would you buy? How many could you buy for $100 or less? So let's check out my $100 fragrance haul here in Japan. All right, so the concept is $100 and 4 vintage fragrances that I found here in Japan. Before I get to that, let me tell you something right now, that this is going to be my last video in this apartment, on this table. So this is an exciting time for me. I'm moving out of Tokyo. I'm staying in Japan. I have another job. Actually, it's the same company that I'm working for, but in a different location. And it was my choice to move to a different city. So I'm going to be living in a different city in Japan, a city called Fukuoka, it's a smaller city, but it's still one of the bigger cities in Japan. It's like something like in the top 6 or top 5 big cities in Japan, but it's southwest. And I just want to get away from Tokyo for, I guess, forever. I just want to come to Tokyo as a, to visit friends as a vacation, not to live in Tokyo anymore. And that's a story for another time. But I'm just going to jump into this video right now and let you know that the videos you see after this are going to be in my new apartment. So can't wait to start shooting some videos in the new location. All right, let's get to this one. I spent $100. Actually, it's a little bit more. Technically, it's $104, but let's round down. Let's just say $100, and I picked up these 4 great vintage fragrances. And by coincidence, there happens to be a fragrance that's represented in a different decade, each one. So for example, you have this one here. This is from the 2010s, and this one is from the 2000s. This is from the 90s, and then this beauty right here is from the 80s. When these came out. They might not have been released around that time. This was released in the 70s and this was released in the 80s, but these particular bottles, the vintages, came out during those decades that I mentioned. So I'll tell you the little story of each one, why I bought it, how much it cost me, and if you stay to the end of the video, guys, I'm going to show you a 5th one that I bought, a bonus at the end of the video. So let's start with, which one should I start with? Let's get this one over with. This is the most recent, the most modern of these fragrances. This is CK1 Summer from 2012. And this one is just about full, if you can see that bubble. It's maybe, I don't know, 2 ml short of a full bottle. Maybe there's 98 ml in this thing. And it doesn't have the box, and it usually comes in the box with the cap screwed on, and you take off the cap and then you put this one on with the stem. But that's all right. Look how cool this bottle is. Look at the coloring on it. Look at how it has this frozen glass design to it. It was bought in Japan. And for some reason, this one is the most valuable of all the CK1 Summer fragrances out there since they started in 2005. Now, I've done a few CK1 Summer videos. These are very easy to find here in Japan. Well, relatively easy to find. They're very common because they were released in Japan. A lot of people bought them, and as you can see, not a lot of people used them. So now they're all just popping up online, and these are some that I can find if I walk into a vintage store. You'll almost always find a CK1 Summer flanker in there. So you guys know, or maybe you don't know, CK1 was I guess it was the first unisex fragrance that was really popular. It came out in the 90s. And then in 2005, they started with these summer flankers. And what's interesting about these is that every year they have a different one. A different flanker made by a different perfumer, usually a different perfumer. And they either add some notes or take out some notes. They either amp them up or tone them down, and they're a little bit different each year, but it is an aquatic, fruity type fragrance. And this one, I even forgot what it smells like. Let me smell this one, give myself a spray. I've tried most of them. I'm trying to collect each year, and I have almost every year, I think, in my collection. And I don't know why this one is worth so much more than the other ones. So I looked on eBay, and a new one, brand new one in the box, is like $300, guys, like $300 to $350, and sometimes $250 if it's brand new and clean and full. This one's really clean, as you can tell. What is this one worth? This one's got to be worth at least 150 bucks. So let's just say 150 bucks on this one. And I got this for 4,000 yen, or $28, somewhere in that range, 27, 28 bucks. What does it smell like? Yeah, it's nice. I can pick up some melon, some watermelon in there, aquatic watermelon, but I wouldn't pay 300 bucks for this. No, thank you. All right, what should we go to next? How about, let's save this one for last. In my opinion, this is kind of the one that I've been wanting to talk about. Let's save the best for last and get to this one next. All right, so I've done plenty of videos about this, guys. There's no mystery to this. There's no surprise. You guys know exactly what this is. Let me show you why I bought it. Basically bought it because this thing is in perfectly clean, like new condition. I mean, look at this bubble on top. This thing is just about full. All right, look at that. Thing is just about full. This is Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, circa mid to late 2000s. So I guess this one is like maybe 06, 07, 08. Maybe 09, but definitely before 2010 and 11, when all the major reformulations happened, which totally neutered this famous fragrance. If you look at this thing, like the cap is totally clean. Like just, you can see my fingerprints on this thing. The chrome is really bright, and as these things age, they get a little bit dull and corroded. And you can just look at this one. It was like stored perfectly. Look at this, and the sticker of the torso is all intact. This has the bodybuilder torso on it. It doesn't have the more modern torso, like the surfer dude, was, as I call it, type torso. This still has the vintage formula inside. And I gave myself a test spray of this when I got this in. By the way, guys, I bought these all in the same day. I think the same day, or maybe 2 days, but I think I got these all in the same day. They definitely arrived on the same day. So it's almost like I said, it was one purchase, 1 day's worth of purchases. This thing smells glorious, guys. This is the original Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce scent. It's super strong. It smells fresh. You can see the juice color is not yellowed. It's still pretty much clear. And this is what the stores smelled like in the 2000s. So that's why I got this one. It wasn't cheap. It was 5,000 yen, but 5,000 yen is about $35. So that is cheap for this. What's it worth? I don't know. It's got to be worth 100 bucks, right? I think this is worth 150 bucks. Just like this one, I think this is worth 150 bucks for one that is in like new condition. Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, a classic on the EDT channel. That's not the first one. That's not the last one you're going to see. All right, so before I get to this, let's get to this one. You guys know what this is. This is Polo Cologne. And this bottle is in beautiful shape too. This is another one that the cap usually gets faded, and this brass color dulls over time. But as you can see, this one is really bright. It's like a bright gold, or you can see my reflection. You see me talking to my smartphone on this little tripod here. It's in perfect condition. Now, this is not Polo Cologne, as you might think. It's got some gooey white stuff in there. This is the aftershave balm. This is a big bottle of 4 ounce, 118 ml. So I rarely see the aftershave toner or balm. So when I saw this, I thought it was interesting. I also saw that it was full. You can just see there's the bubble right here. This thing is almost full of the aftershave balm. And I wanted to see how old it is. This is a Cosmere version of this aftershave balm. And if you just look at the stickers, you know, there's so, guys love to go back to the vintage, I think it's 77 or 78 Polo Cologne. And the original ones say Warner, like distributed by Warner or the Warner Group and Ralph Lauren. This one doesn't say that anymore. So I'm guessing this is from the, let's just say the mid 80s. Maybe this is 84, 85, 86. The other clue that I have that it's from that time period is it's all capital letters here, aftershave balm. If you guys are looking for a vintage bottle of the cologne, it'll say in capitals cologne and the size of the bottle. Then you know it's from the early or mid 80s. It says here copyright 1978. So if this said Warner Group, this would be from the late 70s, very early 80s. But this is a gem. This thing is like, it's like new from the mid 80s. So I thought I would pick it up. What did I pay for it? This was 3,500 yen, 3,500 yen, which is about something like $25, 24 bucks for this toner. Now I'm not going to use it. Of course, I'm just going to leave it in here. Maybe give myself a little smell of what it smells like. Yeah, I mean, it's the Polo Cologne smell in an aftershave cream or aftershave balm version, which is really cool. What is it worth, guys? I have no idea. I looked on eBay, and it's hard to find any of these on eBay. So, guys, tell me in the comments, what do you think this is worth? What would somebody pay for a vintage aftershave balm of a Polo Cologne? Let's just say 50 bucks. Maybe somebody would pay 75 or 100 bucks. I have no idea, but let's just say 50 bucks, all right? So that one, and then finally, let's get to this one here. I've been waiting to talk about this one. I bought previously, like, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, I bought a vintage bottle of this. I made a video and I talked about it, and I lost the footage, or I deleted the footage by accident. I thought I uploaded it on my computer, then I deleted it off my phone, and then lo and behold, it wasn't on my computer, it wasn't on my phone, it was gone. So bought another one because, well, I'll show you why. First of all, this is the jumbo bottle. It's a 4.2 ounce, 125 ml of Jupe. Or is it Jope? I think it's Jope because it's German. But I used to think it was Jupe, right, when I was a kid growing up, seeing this sold in the stores. And the vintage ones basically have this little flower on it. That'll tell you that it's the Jope Homme, the vintage version. Let's look at the bottom. So we see a barcode. We see this, this recycle or yin-yang dot here. This tells you that it's post-92. So I'm guessing this is a mid-90s. 92, 93, 94, 95, something like that. This is the original formula, and I'll show you why when I open this up. First thing I want to show you, this really pissed me off, this little adhesive junk right here. This is the seller's fault. This wasn't on this box when I bought it. And when I got it from the seller had this in a bubbled, what do you call it, a bubbled mailer, like a bubble envelope. And they had the sticky part of the envelope over the box. Insane, right? And this wasn't a rookie seller. This is a seller that has thousands of feedbacks. So I was really surprised that they would do something so stupid, screw up the box like that. Distributed by Lancaster Group USA. So Lancaster Group, you know it's a vintage bottle when it says Lancaster Group. And I actually have a bottle that came before it said Lancaster Group. So I have an even older bottle than this. But let me show you the bottle of this one and tell you kind of what this smells like for those of you guys who don't know. But I think anybody watching this channel knows what this is. So this is what a vintage bottle looks like. And let me show you the color. So you can see, people call this the brown juice. You can't really see with the way the lighting is and the way I have this angled. Nowadays, this is all like a purple color. And the bottle is purple, but you can see that the juice is kind of like a light brown inside. So this is a vintage brown juice bottle. It has the flower. I don't know what this is called, a cornflower or something like that. There's the batch code if you want to take a look at that. As I said, it's a Lancaster Group bottle. and it's in perfect condition. Look how full it is. This thing is almost like a brand new, looks like it's been sprayed maybe, I don't know, 10 or 20 times. Nice small bubble on top. Has the little flower on the sprayer. And I'm going to give myself a spray of this. I have the fruity aquatic on this one, and I have the polarizing homme on this one. Why is it polarizing, guys? This is a love-hate fragrance. So this came out in 1988. This bottle probably came out 5, 6, or 7 years after. It's the original formula. This was made by a brilliant perfumer named Pierre Bourdon. And he is renowned for making a lot of Creed fragrances, and he might even be the guy behind Creed Aventus. But he made this in '88, and this was ahead of its time. This was the Paco Rabanne 1 million. This was the Le Male or the Ultra Male of its time. This was the loud, attention-getting, somewhat clubbing fragrance of the late 80s, early 90s. And a lot of people describe this as smelling like cough syrup because it has this dirty, fruity scent to it. And I call it that. You might call it a dark raspberry, like a dark berry scent. Maybe that's more accurate than how I described it. And this is in the like category for me, not the love category. I don't love this fragrance, but I do like it, and I do know that it's polarizing. I don't wear this outside. I don't go out smelling like this because I do consider this an FU fragrance. This is one that just people hate. My girlfriend doesn't like it for sure, but I like it. Think of, if I can describe this to you guys, if you don't know what this smells like, Pierre Bourdon also made Mont Blanc Individuel in 2003. So this is like the drunk older brother of Mont Blanc Individuel. You know Individuel because it gets hyped by Jeremy Fragrance. Jeremy Fragrance is pretty accurate when he calls it fresh fabric softener with a hint of raspberry. And he's right, that's what it smells like. It's like fresh, clean laundry with a hint of raspberry. This is kind of that raspberry fragrance if it was done as an 80s powerhouse with some darker notes in it. So it's not for everybody, but I like it. And actually, Pierre Bourdon went on to, a few years later, to make Original Santal for Creed, which is basically a niche version of Mont Blanc Individuel. And this might be the first one in a line of fragrances that have a raspberry or berry as the main note inside. So let me know what you guys think of homme. There are a lot of flankers of homme. I haven't tried the parfum. The new one, I think, is the parfum, right? Haven't tried it. I have a sample of it, just I haven't even sprayed it yet. One more thing about this real quick. This brochure flew out of the box when I opened it up. And I'm not going to go through it. It's, you know, there's no pictures or anything, but it talks about their body line. And there is a shaving cream, there's a shower gel, there's a moisturizer. This is the eau de toilette. Yeah, there's a mild soap too. There's a whole bunch of stuff. This is all different languages. So this is in the, I guess in the late 80s and 90s, a lot of these fragrances had a brochure that came in it. And homme also was following that trend. $100 and a handful of discontinued vintage rare and interesting fragrances that I found in Japan. I promised you a bonus, and here it is. I bought one more fragrance, and this is number 5, guys. A vintage bottle of Lacoste Eau de Toilette. Lacoste Homme Eau de Toilette. Let's take a look at the bottom. It's a 50 ml bottle, and this, I guess, is from the early 90s. It's beautifully clean. Look how bright white this is with the built-in sprayer. You can't really see it, guys, but this is nearly full, like 47, 48 ml, something like that. So what did I pay for this? This was 2,000 yen, which is like $14, guys. 14 bucks for this beautiful little bottle of Lacoste Pour Homme. And that is the bonus in this set that I got. What do you think of this set, guys? If you like the video, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Helps out the channel, helps me grow. And if you like this kind of content, say hi. Let me know down below. Let me know what you think about any of these fragrances or this aftershave balm. What do you think these are worth? Love to hear your input, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day out there, and until the next video, which I'll do in my new apartment, take care.